Hey everyone, welcome to the stream. Let me know audio's good and you can see me on all that fun stuff. Hopefully everyone's doing well. This should be an awesome official start to Delta Flyer build live stream. I'm very excited to get started with the build, show off my color scheme for this, answer questions on, the choices on what parts to build your Delta Flyer and stuff like that. So we will do Delta calibration on stream and stuff like that as well. And kind of show off like what parts you should use and why and that type of thing. So my X1 is still printing out parts. So once those parts finish, I should be able to show off more of the color scheme that I've chose and such. But I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So basically, this is episode 0 because we are going to be going over like parts. I want to answer questions from you guys. If you're thinking about building a Delta Flyer and all that kind of stuff, I am going to have a stream every Saturday morning until this is done. So I should have most of the parts I need. I do have to order some more carbon rods. These are what's left over from the original Delta Flyer. Excuse me. I got to order some linear rods. That's not a big deal. Most of all that stuff can come from Amazon. I'll get it this week. So I'm not too concerned about that. I've got motors. I've got extruder choices. We might be doing some interesting stuff with the extruder on this one. I've got some rubber feet and things like that. So I need to get some linear bearings, some iGest linear bearings, but I usually order those off Amazon. So I need to make just a quick order of 4 or 5 parts, and I should literally have everything to build Delta Flyer. I do need to figure out a main board, but I have some options up here. I actually have a Manta Easy I could use. This would work really well. Actually, I can just order a CB1 and this would cut down in wiring and stuff like that. I'll just make an adapter to mount this. So I don't have any other uses for this. So this might actually be a really good idea to use this guy. It's relatively compact. It'll fit inside of the top panel of Delta Flyer too. So that will be great. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to get my iron heating up here so we can start doing some heat sets. How's everyone doing today? So I'll get my iron heating up here. So we can start doing heat sets on these. So I have started to print out most of my major frame parts. Big thanks to Sparta 3D for sponsoring a good portion of this. They have this really awesome Galaxy ABS Plus. They probably have the best selection of Galaxy ABS colors in Canada, I'm sure. Huge thanks to them for sponsoring this. This is going to be really cool filament to use. And all Delta Flyers being built out of ABS because this is going to be enclosed. And hopefully near the end of the stream, we will do some ABS prints on Delta Flyer. But yeah, feel free to ask if you have any questions on Delta Flyer, parts you can use, that type of thing. I'll be able to help you out. Once this stream is complete, Delta Flyer will be officially out of beta, as I will have tested all the parts, and I can confirm it's no longer a beta printer. What is the build height? It's going to be around that 120 mark with the actual 350 rods. So it'll be basically 120 by 120 by 120. You might get a little bit more Z. I think on my prototype, I had 90 Z. So, I mean, technically you should get around 140. We'll see if that's the case. So yeah, definitely 120 plus, probably between 120 and 140. But there can be some losses in there, so. Hey, welcome. Yeah, this will be the quote-unquote proper height Delta Flyer build. I have already made a couple changes to the parts as I'm building this, so minor revisions to the parts. Which I will upload to printables. So for instance, I have removed the hole that was here from like min or whatever. And I have added a little indentation, if you can see that, which will help to align your 150 plate. So that kind of gives you an idea on where your 150 plate should line up on these ledges. And I am securing this with VHB tape. So I've kind of tweaked it a little bit to make it easier for people to get their bed mounted. I am not using the standard spec bed because I already had a 120 millimeter bed that I just ordered. So my build will be a little bit different, but the standard is a 150 plate, just to give you that little bit extra. It fits in the frame, and why not use the 150 size? The big disadvantage of the 150 plate is there is no 150 millimeter round PI. So that's kind of why I was building a 150, or why I ordered a 120, because you can get 120 PI. So you could put this on your 150 plate for sure. I'll see how that goes later on, but for now, I'm just going to use my bed that I already have. I don't have anything else to use this on, so I'm going to use it for this build, but yours will probably be a 150 millimeter plate. That's why I've got an ice cap right here. So yeah, 120 millimeter plate is what I'm using, but 150 is the standard. My X1 should finish up some of the other parts here. I will show off on stream the couple parts that I modified. I don't have all of the bottom frame printed yet. My filament didn't show up till yesterday afternoon, so I didn't get a ton of time to print out all the things I wanted to before the stream. That's kind of why I'm calling this episode 0. It's just kind of a prep stream. I'm going to get as much as I can done with what I had available kind of thing. Next Saturday's stream will be more official episode 1, where we can start really assembling a lot of the printer. I'll have like the linear rods, bearings. I'll have a lot more parts printed out. So this is kind of our prep stream. See what parts I'm missing, what parts do I still need, that type of thing. But I have a good chunk of everything, so. I mainly want to do this build too to make sure all the panels fit before I release the DXF files. You know, I want to make sure the door fits and everything works as expected and it closes properly and all the DXF file sizes are correct and things like that. So that's why I say this printer will be out of beta afterwards. I haven't seen the E3D like Revo thing. I don't know if that's a great idea because then your nozzle can move around technically. Like your nozzle is no longer rigid then, but it would be a really cool idea if it works well and it doesn't affect print quality. But I don't know if I would want my hot end to have like that little bit of play. But maybe it doesn't affect anything. I know tap doesn't, and tap does have that little bit of movement too, right? So it'll be cool to see. The Revo's so expensive though. I hate buying expensive hot ends. But I guess if your hot end is also your probe too, that might be okay. Time will tell, I guess. it should be precise enough for a delta if it's using a piezo like load cell or whatever. So you would be able to do delta calibrate if you're wanting to use the automatic method. Okay, those are all the heat sets we need to do for now. So I'm going to turn this guy off, set it aside here. Yeah, for me, if I'm building a printer that's like $300-400 and my hot end's $100, man, that's a hard pill to swallow. Okay, all the heat sets have been installed. So this is my B and this is my A frame parts here. We can tell that this goes on this side because it has the holes for the magnets for the door. So we now need the middle bottom piece, which is the one that does not have a heat set hole in the front, because obviously there's a door going on this. We're not putting a panel permanently on here, so yeah, you know there's going to be clones all over AliExpress soon enough. So we're using M3x12 for the frame to secure the frame here. All right. Frame, really straightforward to assemble. I'm going to be right back. I just want to get a fan. It's getting hot in my office. All right, get this fan plugged in here. Okay, that should be better. Hopefully that wind, there's like no wind noise on the... Try to put it over here. Oh yeah, nozzles are crazy expensive, and like the big advantage of the Revo is like you can swap nozzles like really easy, and I almost never swap my nozzles like ever, so... Now it looks like my X1 finished off the parts as well. Yeah. My LDO V0 came with one as well. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice hot end, and it's very... The quality's really nice, but the feature is just useless for me. Not to say that it's not a good feature, but... So, if you'll notice on the frame, I actually have a lot of these small holes all around the frame now. I have made a cover panel for the bottom. So, if you've already printed your frame out, you could just drill these holes out with like a 2.5 millimeter drill bit and just print the cover. I have raised this part up a little bit. It will still work without that raised part, so you don't have to reprint your frame if you've already printed your frame out. If you don't want to, of course. I don't have my back frame printed yet because I wanted to show you guys more colors that I'm going to be using. So instead I've printed out a couple parts here that we'll take a look at once my X1 cools down. All right. So there's our frame except for the one back part, which is okay. I will definitely have that ready to go and print. And you will be able to see here how small my little 120 millimeter bed is. So I do have a heater for this, 100 millimeter heater. So I am going to have to trim some parts, but that's how that's going to look. And like I say, I have made panels. I have made covers for this now. So it'll help to keep heat in a bit better too. Most of the hot air is going to rise anyways. It's not that big of a deal, but it'll cover the motors and stuff like that. So I'm just going to be using some leftover cheapo bottom barrel Amazon motors. They'll be completely fine for what I'm going to be doing. Like I say, this is just a build to check everything off, make sure everything works, all the parts are right, and all that kind of stuff, so that I can take it out of beta. And so I can do a final, full, well, not a final, but finish off video of like the YouTube showing this printer off in its final form, I guess is the best way I can put it. So I've already got all my pulleys and idlers. For doing your arms, This is an older version of it, not by much, but this is my arm jig. So you want to use a singular jig for every single arm. That way your arms are always going to be the size of this jig. I initially did one like this, so I did all 6 arms, glued them up. The problem with this is these pins might be slightly different in length between each other. They might be crooked a little bit. So technically, all 6 of my arms could be a slightly different length. So I do not recommend doing it this way. Obviously, this is much faster, but instead I recommend doing 1 arm at a time using the exact same part. That way you will always get 6 identical arms. And what I'm doing is I'm cutting these by 105 millimeters, and then I am taking some M3 threaded rod. I'm gluing that inside there, and then I'm twisting on my MP jet arms, which are on the bill of materials. I have 3 optical end stops. You definitely want to use optical end stops on a Delta. And then I did seem like I cannibalized the end of this, so I'm going to have to find a 3-pin connector to fix that, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal. These end stops do require 5 volts, so that's why they're a 3 volt or a 3-pin. So power, ground, and signal. That will work on any board. You might just have to grab power from like a 5-volt source on the board. Some boards have 3-pin end stops, some boards have 2-pin. I think this one has 3-pin, I want to say. It's hard to say which one is the end stop, but I will confirm that after the fact. So this Manta E3 Easy is meant for a ender replacement, but it's just a 5-driver board. It'll work on Clipper for any printer, and this way I can just order a CB1 and I can pop that in there. Even if that isn't here next Saturday, we won't need it next Saturday. I'll get it before we need it. So I will go ahead and order one of those directly from Big Tree Tech. I'll just check what my X1 temperature is at, if I can grab the... If I can grab the printed parts. It's about 65 degrees. We'll let it cool down for another 10 degrees before I snag the parts off that. What else? So I'm really starting to like these feet. Yeah, the Pico has 3 pins, so that works great for Min. The Pico will also work great for Delta Flyer too. I'm really starting to like these rubber pads, which is pretty blown out. You guys can't even really see. But these rubber gel pads for feet, these are really, really nice. Cheap. They come in a lot of different sizes, and they really hold the printer down really well. I've got my 3 bearings for double shear, and then I also ordered some pins. So again, I just ordered these Amazon because I needed them right away type thing. I don't know. These are like very precise. I got lucky. They fit the idlers really, really well. So I'm just using a pin instead of an M5 bolt. These are much more precise. So yeah, I try to source everything as much as I can, as cheap as possible, but still with decent quality, right? That's what I'm trying. So, but yeah, these pins here on Amazon, they're Hiltich. It's just a set. It's like a set of a bunch of different pins. I had to get a set for the 16 millimeter ones. It's just how it worked out. So you can still use M5 bolts. There's a part for either or. You can M5 or you can use pins. Pins are just a little bit more precise. So there's that advantage there. Oh yeah, I probably gonna have to order a 5015 fan. I'm pretty sure I don't have one of those for cooling. I do have a 4010 fan for the cooling the drivers, so I can put this on the top of the board, or we could just do a, you know, a fan on its side here blowing across the drivers or whatever. That's not a big deal. If I have to guess, I'm going to want to cool my extruder stepper the most if I'm using my Bowden extruder. If you're on my Patreon, you'll have seen the teaser to a Bowden extruder that I've been using on Min and working on. I don't know if I'm going to use that on here or not. I do have a BMG wristwatch extruder here, which would work okay too. This is a 3-to-1 gear reduction BMG gear set, which is not too bad for speed for pressure advance. I don't know if Delta Flyer will outrun that speed or not. I also do have, I'm just using these motors, but I have a dual motor extruder that I designed also. Might try this out as well. Basically double torque, and it's a 1-to-1, so really fast extruder for pressure advance. So I'm gonna be probably playing around with that too. This Delta Flyer is gonna be a test bed for a lot of different stuff. My old printer, my old Delta Flyer, I really haven't decided yet. I might just sell that because a lot of the frame parts are not correct. I don't have the cutout here or the cutout for the door here, so I might just sell that and go from there. Yeah, this is Min. This is the color I printed Min out. It's, I mean, I don't like it like the silk. It's a silk gold. It looks really nice, but yeah, so Min was purple and gold. So I was testing this on Min, that's why it's gold. I'm going to go grab the motor parts, the motor plates, and we'll show off another color of this build. All right. So here's my other color. I am doing Delta Flyer colors. So the Delta Flyer shuttle from Voyager, I am doing a color scheme for it. So I'm using a primary gray color, which most Federation ships are. And then there's going to be some dark gray accents. Again, this is Sparta 3D Galaxy ABS. So it really has a nice sparkle to it. If the camera will ever focus on it. But I have also put a notch in the bearing plate. So you can now adjust your idler or your pulley on your motor much easier with this notch. So we can do that right now. I'm just going to pre-install this guy here. Just going to loosely put this on right now. I will have to Loctite this later, but we'll just get this on here. Grab our bearing plate. I'm not 100% sure how big of screw I think I need, or a bolt I need here. I want to say this is going to be like 25 millimeters maybe. I'll have to double check that here. Hey Austin, welcome. I'm imagining this is 25, but let me check. Yeah, I think this is a 25 millimeter bolt. Let's see here. Yeah, 25 millimeters for the motors. So I'm going to install my bearing on the inside here. Work that in there. It's a nice tight fit. Should be anyways. Okay, and then we will pop in a bolt. And we're going to get to see the color better. The accent color, I should say. Okay. Let's get our motor spacer in there. These might, now that I'm seeing this, I wonder if I have the right motor plate. I did make them slightly smaller on Min, I think, so that the bolts threaded in better, but I'm not 100% sure yet on that. I'll have to measure that up and double check that, make sure I have the right part. Hey, welcome. So, let me just pop these in here. And then we can check and make sure our motor is running freely, which it is. So, yeah, there's going to be the main color scheme. There is a dark gray with a light gray accent. The dark gray is going to be the accent, so my corner panels will be dark gray. I gotta put in some heat sets here, I forgot, but yeah, those colors I think are gonna look really awesome on the build. I'm gonna do the top plate dark gray as well. So we'll put a heat set in here. I would like to get my top plate printing right now, so I think I'm going to quickly go over to my PC and just get a top plate going. Maybe it will finish in time, but let's get these separated here first. There we go. So let me see if I can get a top plate printing out real fast here. I have the top plates done. So we'll just grab this one here. So we'll do a motor cover. Save that. Onto bamboo. We'll go into the A motor cover, and we will print this. It's gonna take 39 minutes or so. We'll see if that finishes before stream. So a motor cover is printing right now. Okay. I don't know if that will be finished enough on stream or not, but so we need to add a heat set into this plate here for our panels, our corner panels. So I'm going to get my soldering iron heating up here. We'll grab 2 heat sets. How's everybody doing? How's everyone's weekend going? How you guys doing? Yeah, so 2 heat sets here. And like I say, huge thank you to Sparta 3D for helping me out on the filament. There's probably like $120 in filament for this printer because I'm doing a lot of different colors. I'm actually doing 4 colors on this printer. You guys will see that next stream potentially. I'll have a lot more printers or a lot more parts printed because I got my filament so late yesterday, I couldn't get as much as I wanted to done, unfortunately. And I will say, if you're printing this out for yourself and you're not going to enclose it, these parts will work with PLA as well. I took all of the parts from Min and I just printed them in ABS and they work. So you can print this in PLA or ABS. Oh, nice. It's always a good feeling when you get some home projects sorted out. All right, what are we at here? 400. So we'll get these 2 heat sets popped in here. So, yes, I do have a project that I want to do. So in my garage right now, I have a, geez, it's a MakerBot Replicator 2, MakerBot Replicator 2. I got it for free off of Facebook Marketplace, And there's a couple projects I want to do. Um, I want to firstly convert it over to magnetic IDEX. If you know the creator of the magnetic IDEX on YouTube, he made that for the FlashForge clone, basically MakerBot clone. I'm gonna print out the magnetic IDEX parts, and I'm gonna convert my replicator thing. We're gonna restore it. We're gonna put clipper on it, and we're gonna play around with magnetic IDEX, which I think is gonna be really, really cool. Heat this up a little bit more. So that's the first project that I want to do with that printer. Is I wanna try IDEX out, and I think a magnetic IDEX is probably one of the better like solutions for that. I've got a huge piece of film up here. I'm gonna crank up the heat on this guy if I can. Oops. Gonna let that sit there for a second. So, and then what I want to do is I want to design a open source 2020 extrusion printer for that. So I want to, because as far as I know, the magnetic IDEX, it's made to be on a FlashForge or MakerBot printer, but the form factor, like there's no DIY version of that, I'm pretty sure. So if someone wants to make magnetic IDEX printer, they have to find like a used FlashForge or MakerBot. So I want to then take that and use it as a example, and I want to make a rectangular shaped MakerBot FlashForge DIY version of my own, and we'll approve upon it and all that kind of stuff. So that's the other project I want to do with that printer, is I want to use it to make a DIY version of that printer so that more people can try out magnetic IDEX, because I think it's a very elegant solution to be able to do two color IDEX just using magnets to do color swapping and things like that. And I think it's a very accessible way for IDEX to try out. So, and then I think maybe once I'd like to try Tool Changer on Pegasus. So like Stealth Changer exists, which should definitely work. This heat set does not want to play nice here. Is this going to give me problems? Yeah, it's going to. Well, not really. It should be fine, I guess. Oh, it does stick up a bit. Yeah, I'll have to. Oh, well, this is not even on, so let me set this to that. We're going to go to 460. Okay. Yeah, or I want to try like support material in PETG, and then PLA prints and stuff like that. Like a lot of stuff, right? I want to try IDEX out for one material is supports, one is normal filament. Some two color prints. You know, two tool heads is much faster than doing like an AMS style two color print. Much less waste, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I've got an old dirty MakerBot printer in my garage that I got for free. We're gonna completely convert it to clipper. We'll convert it over to like a bamboo hot end or a CHC hot end, an inexpensive, nice hot end. We'll maybe do Bowden on it or direct drive. I think the magnetic IDEX is direct drive. So if that's the case, then I'll use what he has for that. But yeah, it's going to be a really fun project. I've not even looked into Clipper IDEX or anything like that. We'll see how hard it is to tune and all that kind of stuff. So I am very excited to play with that. And I got the printer for free, so we'll try that out. And then, yeah, like I say, Pegasus, I would like to get Pegasus working with like stealth changer. So like 4 tool heads on the front and it would go over, pick them up, print. So that's something I would also like to do as well. My frame for Pegasus should be coming soon. I'm going to be streaming that build as well. There's a bunch of fixes I want to do to Pegasus, like adding double shear to the motors. I want to change all the belt tensioning to the tool head. I'm going to be using a more updated, better tool head, either my own design for what I want to print, or we'll use Dragon Burner or something along those lines just for that, because that printer is going to be fully enclosed and it's going to be a 0.6 nozzle on that printer. So I've never really played around with 0.6 much. I think I did it once on my Phoenix Delta. I think that's it. So that's only like 2 or 3 projects of like 10 projects I have coming up. Like I've got like 2 or 3 more printers coming down the pipes. There's no shortage of ideas. I just need to focus on finishing Delta Flyer completely, get it done, no longer in beta, and go from there. And I would really like to approach somebody to make a Delta Flyer kit. If you guys are interested in a Delta Flyer kit, let me know so that I can provide that information to potential manufacturers of a kit for Delta Flyer. So like I say, I really think there should be a more DIY kits. I mean, it's not really going to be a big deal, I don't think, for tool changer. I don't think it'll affect docking or undocking of the tool head at all. I'll see what I come up with. Like I say, I don't know. I haven't really looked into stealth changer much at all. But belt tensioning on the front idlers is not great. It's not ideal at all. It's very difficult to, like, you don't want your idler moving because it can get skewed. Like Voron obviously has that problem, and they have like, there's upgraded idler mounts, so you have 2 bolts to try and level the idler off. It's just, I don't like that. It'll give you some weird noise and stuff like that when your belt's rubbing up on the top or the bottom of the idler. So I would I want to get belt tensioning like in more of a fixed position on the tool head itself. There should be room in the back, and I don't think it will affect, like, the mounting and all that kind of stuff should hopefully be the same. I want to make the like the belt tensioning. There'll be a belt tensioning plate that will then support tool heads coming on and off, right? I should say the belt tensioning won't be on the tool head. I'm just going to have the belt tensioning as a separate plate on the X rail, so the tool head can come on and off of that plate, right? That's the difference. So the tool head will stick out like, 5 more millimeters out, but the plate is going to basically serve as the same idea, if that makes sense. But I should have said I'm going to have belt tensioning on the X, not the tool head itself, if that makes sense. Okay, so this is finally flush now, so I can turn this off. So the belt tensioning on X shouldn't affect the tool head, I guess is the idea. That's the hope anyways. So but like I say, I have absolutely no idea, not looked at it at all. So And that project is like a ways away. So like I want to use whatever solution Stealth Changer uses. It's just I'm going to have a plate behind that with my belts. So whether I need to make an adapter so that you can use the tool head on my plate or whatever it might be, but yeah, I do not want to change the tool head itself. I just want to make a belt tensioning plate that goes onto the X linear rail. Okay, so yeah, you guys can see here, there's a nice opening now, so you can get your Allen in here to actually adjust your pulley. Much easier to make adjustments if you need to move your pulley over or whatnot. So we can actually get an Allen in here to do adjustments, and for tightening and stuff like that, you can actually get the Allen in here now. So yeah, so I'm hoping it'll be an easy like easy mod or whatever. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, I want to make sure Stealth Changer is as the same as possible. I just want to make an adapter. One issue I've had so far is heat sets on the Z carriages cause my iron to melt holes for MP jets. On the carriages itself, we'll probably be assembling on those on next stream so we can see what you shouldn't have any issues with that, but the carriages that I'm using on Delta Flyer, I've only used them the one time, so we'll see if what happens when I assemble that and if there's any changes that we need to make. But as far as I know, it shouldn't cause any issues with melting. I'm assuming you're talking about the heat set for the clamp, to clamp around the IGES bearing. And I've got quite a bit of time left on my print. Let's just check what my X1 print is at. So 30 minutes we'll have a cover done. So we just got to waste 30 minutes of time. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm going to install those heat sets on stream next Saturday, and we'll definitely check it out and see. But yeah, because yeah, they go around the back. I wish I had one printed out to see, but we will definitely figure it out for sure. My MP jet should be here too next week as well, so I will show off jigging up one of those so you guys can see jigging up one arm. And then yeah, I'm just gonna jig one arm a day, and I'm gonna do each one on this singular jig so that all the arms are identical, because this jig here is what sets the arm length, not my carbon rods. So you can cut these carbon rods slightly differently every time, you'll still be okay. So if you made these 105, 104 by mistake, the jig doesn't care. The jig is set at a set distance. 105 is slightly undersized, so that the jig is always setting your length, not the rod size. So we'll show that off too. So should be very easy for beginners and stuff like that. Yeah, I did turn that off perfectly. So yeah. So that's the update to the bearing plate here with the cutout for the Allen. So that should be pretty nice. Okay. Yeah, you definitely have to have your soldering iron on an angle, if I remember that correctly, to not melt it out. But we'll go ahead and install those next stream, because those will all be printed out by then for sure. I have all my filament now, so absolutely be doing that, certainly. So what we can do now is I can take my motors off of here, because I'm going to be using these motors for this. So we might as well get them off my prototype Bowden extruder while we're waiting. What is everyone using for a mainboard on their Delta, on Min or Delta Fly? Are you using a Pico, or are you using the Mellow Fly board? Oh yeah, sorry, I was not paying attention to some of the questions. Does a BMG clone work already, or will I need to design a mount? I will be making a BMG clone kind of mount. We'll definitely be figuring out some solutions for that as well. So a BMG clone should work for you, but we're gonna be mounting it on the side panel, so I will have to make the side panel with the correct holes for a BMG mount for one of these mounts here. I've got like a million of these things, so yeah, we'll have to make some sort of mount for this, for the BMG. A BMG clone will probably be the most common, I would think. Yeah, the kit is going to be help people source. It should be a very inexpensive kit. The frame is all 3D printed. The kit, though, most likely won't carry the MP jets. You'll have to order those separately. Most manufacturers are not going to be able to import those MP jets just for a kit. But I'm hoping the kit will include all the carbon rods, maybe some glue for you, that type of things, so you can actually make the rods yourselves and that type of stuff. But yeah, the kit would come with motors, all high quality bearings, rods, all that kind of stuff. And it should hopefully be pretty inexpensive. Okay, I'll take a look. One Pico SKR Mini E3. Okay, yeah. Yeah, the bill of materials is crazy simple on a Delta. The only issue is the arms. The arms are very custom. I'm pretty sure I won't be able to get a kit manufacturer to make pre-assembled arms for you. So you will have to self-source the MP jets yourself, unless I can find a equivalent or something like that on AliExpress. But MP jets right now are the go-to. But yeah, a kit definitely would be doable, and it should be relatively inexpensive. Yeah, a quality board should definitely work for sure, because you don't need sensorless homing. We're using optical end stops, so that should absolutely work. Yeah, I'm hoping at least we could get a bunch of pre-cut carbon rods for builders. Also, something I never even thought of too is because my rod size is so weird, like it's 105. Instead, we could actually do a 100 millimeter carbon rod and then put like a M3 nut on each side to make it a little bit better. So that would be like 104 kind of thing. and we could make the kind of parts work with that too. But I would like to make sure the rods are pre-cut. That's a big advantage of a kit for sure. You would just have to assemble them yourself. So yeah, I potentially want to work with somebody. I've got someone in mind, of course. We'll see how it goes. But there's like, other than the Doron Velta, like kit, that's it as far as like full on Delta DIY kits, like ready to go. I don't know of many. That I don't even know if any do exist anymore. I know back in the Marlin days, like a long time ago, like 8 years ago, Simi CNC used to sell Deltas. I bought one of theirs with Marlin. It was not great. Not really their fault. It was more Marlin was not ready for Deltas. The calibration was horrid. But a Delta Flyer kit would be a big deal, I think. Especially if like the arms are pre-cut and stuff like that. I think it would help a lot of people jump into the Delta arena and not be so maybe so scared about Deltas or assembling them and stuff like that. So probably the first thing I need to do is I need to get someone working on a manual for Delta Flyer. So a build manual for this printer would be the next step first. But at the same time too, it'd be nice for the manual to be specific to that kit. So I might want to wait on that. So there we go. Grab these off of here. There we go. See where we're at here for 20 minutes. We can wait till that print is done so I can show that off. But yeah, so a little change to that, and then a little change to the top plate here. Like I say, there's holes now in the top for the top cover, which I think is going to make the printer look much nicer. And then of course we're going to have my little tiny 120 bed with my itty bitty little PEI right there. The top plate though, the top plate for Delta Flyer does support Sherpa Mini mounts though, so you can print out a Sherpa Mini and just use your BMG guts in a Sherpa Mini if you want. So that is an option too. I just don't know if I like the filament going straight down, because when your effector goes all the way up, it might kind of kink a little bit more than if the extruder's on the side panel. So luckily I do have a laser to cut my black side panels, but I will have to get a service to cut the front panel out because it is a special bronze acrylic panel for the front. I'll also give some LEDs as well for this too. But yeah. But I think this color scheme is going to work out quite nice. Next stream I should be able to install the rods too. So I'll have the rods for this. And we're going to get to start to see the height. Because my prototype is obviously 50 millimeters shorter. So I've never actually seen the proper, like in real life, Delta Flyer dimensions, so that'll be cool to see, certainly. So I think one of these idlers here is kind of a little worse for wear, so I'll probably try to find a nicer one in my parts hoard here. If I grab one of my pins, one of these was kind of, yeah, this one, is it this one? One of these was rotating kind of not that great. Yeah, that one's okay. Or maybe I was just thinking that, is that the case? Oh, okay, all these spin very well, so. I might also have to order some belts. I don't know if I have enough belts. And I do think I'm going to have to modify the motor spacer here to cut out some of this motor spacer, because once I slide my pulley in, I don't think I'm going to be able to get at this set screw as much as I would like. It's already not the greatest angle-wise, so I will make a modification to that too. So, a few modifications on the parts. That's how a beta works. Now that we're slowly building it, we can start making just minor quality improvements as we go. That type of thing. And if you don't want to reprint your frame, of course, you can just drill out these holes. Just print the cover out, kind of line it up as best as you can, and then you could drill the holes. You won't have these raised parts on the ends here, but you should be able to measure it or whatever. Once you line it up, just kind of tape it in place or something like that, and just drill some 2.5mm holes. Then you don't need to reprint all of your frame on the bottom. I am using the cutout one like Min. But yeah, I think these ones are the old version. Yeah. Delta Flyer, I copied some parts over, but not everything from Min. And yeah, you're right. I'm pretty sure I already did modify that. So luckily I only printed one of these. I'll print the proper ones. I'll update the CAD too for Delta Flyer, because yeah, I knew those ones should have been modified as well. Again, I think I have the old bearing spacers on Delta Flyer. They're not the Min ones. Which, easy fix, but I'll do that after stream for sure. Okay, yeah, Alex. You can modify this then. Just modify yours, drill these holes for the motor covers. Because it's going to look a lot better with the covers on. This is, again, it's still VHB tape. I'm probably not going to do anything other than the VHB for my... There's no force on this bed. VHB tape will be perfectly fine holding it in place. Again, I don't like builders doing a lot of custom, like drilling holes and all that kind of stuff. I don't like that. Like counter boring these and all that kind of stuff. So on a 150 bed, it's fine. You have the space. So maybe down the road, but I don't have a 150 bed that I can sacrifice to do make a jig and then do the holes for it. But that could eventually happen. For now, though, we're just doing VHB tape. And yeah, I should add it to the BOM just so people know that you need VHB tape and you need epoxy. So I'll have to make those additions to the BOM as well. But I did remove the holes from this, and there is now a cutout on where your bed will line up, your 150 bed. So you can see there are indentations so that you know where to place your bed. But eventually, yeah, I could maybe make a jig to drill your own holes into your plate to secure them down to here with some threaded inserts potentially. But VHB tape works very, very well. and it does give a bit of vibration isolation for the bed as well. So I think on this that'll be pretty good. But like I say, it wouldn't be too big of a deal to make a adapter. Yeah, and maybe if Delta Flyer takes off, like if a lot of people start building Delta Flyer, I can definitely approach Funsor to maybe make a bed. It shouldn't be too big of a deal, or somebody, right? Fabrico maybe could make a bed for it or something like that. It would be really cool to get like a V0 style bed with a PCB heater already attached. That'd be awesome. But that would be $60, right? The great thing right now is this is like $20 Canadian, right? The 150 and 120, they're $20 Canadian. This is crazy cheap, and you can very easily grab one. But you're right. If I could get a manufacturer to make Delta Flyer beds, that would be really cool. So there will be some things like that, and that's why a kit would be nice. You'd have a known good bed with potential mounts with counterbores on it, so you can mount it nicely. So I agree. That's definitely something that we'll look at when a kit. But yeah, for Funsor to make a bed or someone to make a bed, Delta Flyer would have to be more popular. So if I can get some serials starting to go on Delta Flyer and get some interest and stuff. Obviously, I haven't made an official YouTube video saying, hey, it's out, it's on printables, because it's beta right now. So not many people know it's on printables other than Discord. So once I build this myself and I'm happy with all the parts, I will make a YouTube video announcing it, and I will say on there, hey, if you guys show enough interest, I'll try to get a kit made and stuff like that. But we definitely need to get some interest for sure on this so a kit can be produced. Yeah, and I think there'll be more serials once I make a YouTube video. Again, like I say, no one knows that Delta Flyer is out on printables other than Discord. So that's not a very big amount of people that are into Deltas on the Discord and have seen it posted, right? So if I make a YouTube video that gets like 3,000 to 5,000 views, then that's going to help Delta Flyer take off quite a bit more. So I also want to really dial this into input shaper, pressure advance, all that kind of stuff on here. So I will be mounting my FiSec input shaper on here so I can do input shaping on this. I never did that on my prototype. So I want to show off prints and things like that. I want to test out my extruder and stuff so people have more extruder options, things like that. So I will be mounting my USB-C input shaper on the bottom of my effector, and we'll get some input shaping on this too, because I don't have input shaping on Min nor my prototype. So there's definitely some little things I need to do before I make a video. And I do need to definitely start ordering some parts here today to make sure I have everything. Luckily, I've got a main board. I do need to get a CB1 right away though, so I have it in time. It would be interesting too to maybe fit in like a little tiny FiSec like OLED display in here too. Just I think it would look neat. Not necessarily needed at all with Clipper, but oh yeah, that would be a great great choice for that for sure. Even though this is bigger than Min, it's still a nice compact printer. We should only have like 10 more minutes for my top cover because I wanna check its fitment and stuff like that. Yeah, we're exactly at 10 minutes for my top cover, so we'll wait till that finishes off. And then, like I say, next Saturday we're going to be doing much more building because I'll have like most all of the parts printed. I'll have a whole week to print parts out. I'll have my rods and all that kind of stuff. I should have my heater for this. I ordered a 100 millimeter heater, again, just my specific parts. My MP jet should be here. I'll start gluing a few of those up just so I can get working on that because it will take 6 days to make the arms. 1 arm a day. Yeah, that'll be totally fine too. The only time I use a display on my clipper machines is when I go to sell them because someone can set up their network easier. So I have like a Big Tree Tech screen or something like that. But just because you can set up your Wi-Fi, and when I sell a printer, then they don't have to take the SD card out and edit files and crap. It's just very easy. I don't have to worry about them setting up Wi-Fi when they go to buy my printer. It's the only time I ever use a screen for the most part, but yeah, a V0 screen, yeah, it just would look cool. You can set up the colors to match your theme of your build and stuff like that, so. I was going to have these middle pieces here on my gray accent pieces, but I messed up and I accidentally printed one out with the same color, so I just said whatever. We'll have our accents on here, and the accents will be on the top covers and the sides, of course, and the top frame. So definitely check out Sparta 3D for Galaxy ABS. It's really awesome stuff. It was a huge help from him for the filament on this build. Yeah, I don't think there's that much else that I need to order for this build. Like I say, I've got most everything I need. Yeah, that's an advantage too, for sure. You can just go to a list of your prints and just print one out without going to a computer. Certainly. That is definitely nice too. A lot of my builds are like around the corner in the back corner of my basement, so I just use the web interface all the time. I'm never near the printer when they're printing for the most part, so screens don't really help me out much, but they do have a couple advantages, certainly. I don't think I'm going to need my soldering iron, so I might as well unplug it. But yeah, it's good that you caught that. I'll definitely have to put the correct motor spacers on to printables and update my CAD with the min ones. These were, again, just... I think what happened was I had min and Delta Flyer, like, I made them both at the same time, and then I finished min off, and those new parts on min, some of them didn't make it over here. Some of them did as I was designing it, but some of them didn't carry over, and the motor spacer is one of them. I actually think this spacer is 0.5 millimeter too big too, or 1 millimeter too big. So I will easily reprint all of those, and I probably need to update printables. So I'm glad we caught that, because yeah, that's it's an annoyance more than anything. Five minutes and we'll have the cover. I get to see the cover plate. I've never seen it in real life, so I printed out this side here. It's split into 3 obviously, but we can put it on here and I should be able to bolt it on. These are just threaded holes or whatever. Just there's no need for heat sets in here, but we could pre-thread these just to make our life a little bit easier. while we're waiting. So 2.5 drill bit should be great for threaded holes for this. And the motor cover should really improve the looks of the printer. It'll kind of be like that finishing piece to the entire build. I wish I could have had more parts printed, but there was like a weather issue with my shipment of my filament, so I got it one day later than I was supposed to. But that's okay. Next stream will have a lot to do next Saturday. Next Saturday's stream should be later too. It should be 1 o'clock my time. And it's nice, this board has 5 steppers as well. So I can use 2 extruder motors if I need to, individually, which is nice option to have if I need it. I'm going to have to order an SD card too. I don't think I have any good SD cards, but this was in my it was in this printer, I believe, my Rook Evolution. Another project that I have is I want to do a updated Rook build with you guys, because I have like Funsor metal parts that I haven't used yet. So I have like the Funsor metal Rook bed. This is like a really nice piece. This bed frame is super nice. I want to build this. I've got all the metal Funsor parts here. So I've got the Y carriages here. I've got the X mount. So I want to convert this over, this Rook, which you guys probably can't see here. I want to convert it all over to the metal CNC parts. I think that's going to be really cool. I don't know what color I should do. What colors would you guys see? I'm going to reprint this whole printer here. It's the bottom frame is broken. I cracked it when I was building it, so I want to do some colors. Maybe black and green. Black and green would be pretty cool. But do I have one with their custom steppers? Which custom steppers? 22 gauge should be fine for the build. I don't really see why you would need any thicker gauge. For the power supply, I literally just cut the end off the power supply and I plug it into the board permanently. So, but yeah, we are gonna do a like CNC Rook updated build. But I need to maybe a green and black color scheme. And this is my garbage fly D5. This is junk. This doesn't work. UART does not work on this. So this is literally a paperweight. I can't use it. And I've got a Monster 8 that I took off of Cappy there too. So we're going to use that for my Defiant Resurrection build. Or maybe Pegasus. The standard check your flyboard, it may not work. Mine, they had a lot of issues These ones with the standard drivers, these are bad from the factory. A lot of these are. UART does not work. Sensorless homing does not work on this. So it is garbage. The DP5 with like PCB drivers work perfect, but this does not. So check yours. What about heated bed and hot end for Delta Flyer? I have a silicone heater. I don't think I have a bamboo hot end. I might have one. I'll have to look. That should be like near the last part of a stream, so I have time to order one of those as well. Print finished, so we're just gonna wait for it to cool down, and I'll show you guys the motor cover. We're at 86 degrees right now, so I'll wait that until that gets down to like 50 degrees. It shouldn't take long to cool down, so. Oh, what gauge wire for the heaters? 22 I think is perfectly fine. I can tell you here in just a second. What gauge is this? So this is 22 gauge. This is fine. I'm pretty positive. Let me check the gauge of the bamboo. So this is one of my old bamboo hot ends. I think the thermistor is bad on it. And yeah, 22 gauge is absolutely perfectly fine. So 22 for heater and hot end is fine. For the silicone heater, I mean, again, it's such a small heater. I think it's like 2 amps, 2 or 4 amps. It's not crazy, if I remember correctly. So that should be totally fine. Yeah, the heated bed should come with wires that are long enough. Um, 22 gauge wire can handle 10 amps, so that should be plenty for that. Yeah, no issues at all. 2 amps is, yeah, 22 gauge is completely fine. You could probably even go to like a 24, but 22 gauge would be perfectly fine. And yeah, what was it? I convert this, so if we go, I think the heater is 50 watts, which is 2 amps. So a 50 watt silicone heater at 24 volts is it's 2 amps. So yeah, there's plenty of room on that for the heater too. If you need to extend the heater wires, 22 gauge will be perfectly fine. It'll be nice on this build. I can finally test out the front door fully because my Delta Flyer prototype, I'd have to print the whole frame out again. So there's no point in doing that. I'm just going to sell that as like a PLA one. rather than taking all the parts off of it and like all the printed parts sitting wasted. The panels would sit being wasted. So, hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Just waiting for a print to cool down on my X1 and I can install a brand new print. So we've cooled down a bit already. Yeah, thermistor you could definitely do smaller for sure. Oh, nice. Costal Delta is a cool printer too. Lot of like parts for those on AliExpress for sure. You can just type in Costal Delta and there's all sorts of crazy parts for those. Metal corners and all that kind of stuff. I think I have a Costal effector actually. Um, I was gonna mess around with one for Min. Yeah, so I've got a Costal. This is a Costal metal effector, which I'm pretty sure you could adapt to a Min setup if you wanted like a metal effector. It probably would work. You would just have to do a little change with cooling. Um, so I haven't messed around with that, but these are like $10. Okay, a large one. Make sure you're doing 2040 frame, and make sure you have double shear motors. But you'll definitely, on that size, you'll absolutely want a 2040 frame. Yeah, you're going to use like a Hayden Huntley style magnetic arm. Those are great for sure. They're heavy, but they work well. I think there's a couple different magnetic rods on Ali too for Costals. I don't know how good a quality they are, but my large 1000 millimeter tall delta should have been 2040 extrusions for sure with bracing to print fast or to print tall. You definitely need the most rigid you possibly can get. Okay, yeah. Good starter printers for sure. And you're getting to the DIY stuff, which is good. Oh, okay, you don't have AliExpress. You got to rely on other sources. Okay. Oh yeah. I want to build an M45 once it's fully out for sure. I definitely want to build one. I'll probably do a build series on that once it's officially released. Yeah, I'm gonna laser cut my panels out here pretty quick so that I can make sure that the DXF files are good. Oh, nice. A mini one would be pretty cool. Okay, getting close to cool enough to grab the part off my X1 and then I can put it on here. Oh, 12 to 15 days for Ireland. I mean, it's pretty similar for Canada too, Alex. Some things, it depends on the store. Some things I get pretty quick. Some things, yeah, they take like 2 weeks for me too. Canada life. Yeah, if you're not on my Discord, definitely join my Discord. There's a really awesome Delta channel on there. There's Delta information on there all the time. It's very, very active. But yeah, definitely announce when the M45 is out because I do want to build one for sure. Yeah, Newfoundland does have its own accent for sure. It is very kind of Irish-esque. No, to join? No, just join the Discord. It's all free. Everything I do is mostly free. All the files are free. Most printers are all open source and free. So check out my YouTube. There'll be a link to join my Discord in one of the descriptions. Just check my most recent video, and you'll have a link to join. And you can check out the Delta channel. It's really awesome. The whole Discord itself is really awesome, but yeah, if you're looking for Delta stuff, that's where you want to go. Yeah, it's a great channel for sure. No problem. Yeah, the more people getting into custom printers and DIY printers, the better. It's a really fun aspect of the hobby, and you can learn a lot. So definitely check out. And the people on my Discord know way more about deltas than I do. Elias and James on the Delta channel know more than me, so they are great people to ask questions if you're building your own. I'm gonna go grab my part here and we'll put it on. All right, motor cover time. Yeah, you'll definitely learn a lot on the Discord for sure. And I'll do some I'm in this streaming series, we're going to be doing delta calibration and stuff on here. So, yeah, here's the motor cover is finished. Let's install this. It looks great. So, we use these smaller M3s here. Go ahead and pop this on. So I will put these motor covers on printables, of course. I just want to make sure the sizing is all good and stuff like that. Hey Pixel, welcome. No, we are we are making progress, but I didn't get my filament in time, so we're kind of running near to the end of the stream. But Next stream I will have a lot more parts printed. Yeah, this cover looks awesome. I will have to modify the cover to give more room for the Allen, maybe. I don't know. I guess if you're on the stage of printing the cover, you've already adjusted your pulley anyways. So there's the motor cover. So we'll have the, yeah, that's going to look awesome. So really clean up the build for sure. I'm very happy I made this. So this is for my 120 bed. I will make one for the 150 proper size, of course. And again, huge thanks to Sparta 3D for this filament. It's going to look really great. This is honestly probably going to add a bit of strength to the build too. So it will definitely strengthen these parts up too. So I can't wait to see with all the covers installed. Next stream's going to be really great. We're going to get a lot of building done. I mean, deltas don't take very long to build, so there we go. So that looks awesome, and then I'll have my PI. That's going to look sick. So like I say, standard is 150 millimeters, not 120, but I had this, I might as well use it. But yeah, ABS all shrank at the same size, so it looks really great. So we'll see, hopefully my other panel here lines up nice and clean with this other one. So yeah, very, very happy with how that cover looks. Really, really cleans the printer up a lot. Yeah, you'll have tolerance issues, Alex, when you combine ABS and metal parts, because ABS shrinks so much. Same thing for like my side panels. Like on Delta Flyer, the ABS shrank enough where my panels stuck out. So ABS, if everything is ABS, it all shrinks the same and you don't have to change anything. But like ASA, I made an ASA top. It doesn't shrink enough to fit. So this is an ASA like top cover for my prototype, and like it's slightly bigger than it should be because ASA doesn't shrink as much as ABS does. So it's ABS itself is fine, but it does, like, the hole sizes can change sometimes for sure, and things like that. But it's not too bad. You just have to. It's very, very tricky if you're printing ABS and then you're attaching parts to ABS that are not ABS. So like a fan, the holes will be a different size because ABS shrinks like by, I don't know what the actual rate is, but that's the only annoying thing about ABS is that shrinkage. But if all the parts are the same material, then it's okay. So that's why if I was making these covers out of acrylic, I would have to change the whole placement because the ABS would shrink and the holes wouldn't line up. So huge advantage into using printed covers because that shrinks at the same size. So wow, we made it to like 2 hours, which is awesome, and I didn't even have many parts ready to go. So next stream's gonna be fire. We're gonna be doing a lot of really good building. Um, it's very possible we'll have the carriages installed, and the top on next stream, and running belts. Like it's gonna come along pretty fast this stream. So definitely stay look out for next Saturday's stream. Like I say, it will be a little bit later than today's. My kids have swimming lessons, I believe, next Saturday, so I will be starting my stream at 1:30 my time, which is Mountain Standard Time. So that'll be like 3:30 Eastern Time, if I remember my time zones. Um, but yeah, I am very excited to build this on next stream because we're definitely going to make a lot more progress, and this is going to start looking really cool. So I think I'm going to end the stream there, guys. I really appreciate all you guys joining. Thanks to all of you who are my Discord members or my Patreon members and YouTube members. It really does help me out a lot, being able to order these parts and things like that. So I will end the stream here. We will absolutely be doing another stream for everyone on next Saturday with a lot more parts, a lot more building and stuff like that. So feel free to join my Discord if you're not on my Discord. Hang out, and I'm going to catch you guys all next Saturday. So thanks everyone for joining, and I'll talk to you later.